I guess, should we just get through the bosses? And maybe we'll find our way.
Now that we're an hour into this podcast. Whoops.
You guys signed up for it.
That's right.
Maybe we'll put like a time stamp for when we start ranking bosses and we're talking about them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys didn't listen to Kana because it was an hour long. Now we're going to give you a 3-hour-long podcast. This is what you asked for, you animals.
That's what you get. But yeah, the first boss, at least for me, because I mean you can kind of do this in a certain order if you want, but the Lost Giant. Now, before we get into the Lost Giant, what's your ranking number for him?
Let me find this guy. I think I have a soft spot for him that no one else holds. He is my number 11.
He's my number 8.
Hey, look at us, giant
I think
boys.
he's a great boss.
Why does everyone hate him?
I don't know. I think he is one of the few times in the game where it's like kind of scary fighting a boss.
Yeah.
Especially for your first boss. I mean, he's towering. He is just very plain looking.
Mm-hmm.
And has like no characteristics, but that is his character. He's just like a dead giant. He's a dying giant.
And I love their faces. They're so horrifying.
Yeah, they're like knots in trees or something.
Yeah, that's the perfect thing. I'm sure that's exactly what it was supposed to be. You're a freaking genius. Shibuya over here.
They are just like there's just a gaping hole there where an expression would be, but it's not. I
love that.
I think the giants are very interesting in this game. I like the way that they do giants. Maybe not so much in like certain areas where I think it's a little gimmicky at that point, but for this one, it's great.
I agree. They can be annoying to fight as like a mob, but I think in both instances, they're quite good as bosses.
Mm-hmm.
I love that he rips his arm off to fight you with it. Yeah. I just think that's so dope. Like, yeah. And I've heard people be like, you're slashing his feet and that kills him, but he can rip off his own arm. It's like, guys, calm down. Okay?
That's stupid.
It's fine. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. So I'm glad you're soft on him too.
Yeah. I think that's it. Is that how we're going to talk about these bosses pretty much?
Yeah, a little quick thing. Although, in addition to that, I think the Forest of Giants area is probably the best area in the game. It's awesome how it goes back on itself, and there's tons of shortcuts, and it's very reminiscent of the first game. I think it's a great area.
So your number, it was 11 for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next one, the Pursuer. What's your number?
I really like the Pursuer. He's my number 4.
He's my number 5.
Hey, look at us, man.
Look at us.
People don't like the Pursuer either. I think he's awesome.
Oh yeah. Please tell me about the Pursuer.
So the Pursuer is a suit of armor from a bygone age. This is the kind of lore we won't get into in the lore episode. Mm-hmm. And I have more to say about the Lost Giant. But he's pretty much this suit of armor that's not from Vendrick or from the old Iron King or even from the King of Elium or anything like that. He's from like long, long, long before. And the suit of armor's duty is to pretty much find undead and destroy them to stop the curse. Which is an overarching theme, is how different people and different kings try to subdue the undead, essentially.
Yeah.
But he's just this suit of armor that shows up constantly. He's in the Lost Bastille twice, I think. You fight him here, and you can fight him before that, too. And I think he's just a really cool recurring boss, although he's only technically a boss once.
Yeah, but, he's like Proto Man in Mega Man.
Yes, I haven't played that, but I believe you.
I think he is a great teacher.
Oh yeah,
for parrying, like I said before, and I think that's a valuable skill to learn and to master. And I think he is the perfect way to master it. I like how the game gives you like giant crossbow catapults. Am I saying crossbow? Yes. Yeah, it's weird.
The ballistas?
Yeah, the ballistas. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just put 2 and 2 together, you know.
I like it. You put them together.
They give you the option to shoot him with those. And it's really hard to shoot him with those sometimes because he can move really fast, but it takes down half his health. But don't do that. Just parry. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Or just walk left.
Yeah. That's all, that's all the bosses. Just slightly stroll to the left.
Yeah, you can avoid so many of his attacks just by walking out of the way.
Yeah.
Which sounds dumb. Granted, you do have to mix it up, but it also kind of makes you feel really cool because you're cool as a cucumber under pressure, just walking.
Yeah.
Walking under his swings.
Just walking.
But he's awesome. He was probably the most challenging boss when I first started the game. I probably died to him 5 or 6 times.
I'd agree.
But then when you fight him again, it's you're just so cool. I mean, you can take this guy down easily. And I think it's a great measure of your, what's the word? Your progression.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it. There's a lot of enemies in this game where they're just like the first one, where there's bosses of them and then you start fighting them all the time. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. But this one is more poignant because when he comes back, he's still a boss. He's not just a throwaway enemy.
Yeah, he still takes some
at
effort.
Once.
Yeah.
Next one I have is Old Dragon Slayer. He's my number 19.
Ornstein. Let me look for this guy. He's my 8.
Okay.
I don't dislike him.
Huh?
I said I don't dislike him.
I mean, he's in your top 10, so you like him.
This is the thing. I think I only genuinely like the top 12.
That still falls under the top 12, buddy.
I like him for lore implications. I think it's interesting personally that Ornstein could have left with Guinevere to a new place. I think that's cool. I think he's a fair fight. I just wish they hadn't neutered him so much. I wish, and I like that he's using dark magic instead of lightning, just because maybe he changed or he had to give something up. I think that's interesting lore-wise. Mm-hmm. I just wish he was a little harder, because he's a little too easy, I think, to be Ornstein, which is a bummer. But, for fan service sake, I like him. I think it's cool. I like that you can get his spear. I just like fighting him. I just think he's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all. But yeah, just quickly. I mean, anything after 12 is mixed feelings, essentially.
Mm.
But what do you think? I know you don't like him as much as me.
Yeah, he's fine. He's overshadowed by the actual Ornstein and Snow fight in the first game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I can't not compare it to that. With it being the same Ornstein.
Armor, at least. Yeah, and it's it may be
the same it could just be the armor itself. But yeah, it's interesting that he could have fled to Hyde, which is maybe the continent, or you don't know what really Hyde is, but he fled here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the first time I fought him, I thought he was really cool. The second time, for this podcast, he really fell from grace for me, especially going right after Ornstein and Smo and fighting him. I think they do fights like this a lot better later on, setting wise, like cathedrals or churches, because you're in the Church of the Blue Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was 2 pews.
Yeah.
It's just an odd room, I'd say.
Yeah, even to look at the Blood-Starved Beast, I think that cathedral is just so much better. And Bloodborne, mm-hmm. or even in the Demon Souls remake with the false idol. It's awesome, Yeah. Granted, Demon Souls came out first, but no, I agree with you.
Yeah. I have Dragonrider next. It makes sense. He's in Hyde. I don't know why I didn't put him first before Old Dragon Slayer, but whatever. I like his area. He's my number 26, though.
I like everything about him, but he's my number 26. He's my number 28.
Okay.
Remarkably similar, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense.
He's mediocre. I think it's cool that you can modify his boss arena.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Like, that's a cool idea that From had. They never did it again, but I think that's... Oh, I guess they did with Mythia, but I think it's really cool, an idea-wise.
Yeah. I think he's a lot better than the other Dragon Riders. Maybe. I actually don't remember. I could be wrong. But I like his area a lot more. His arena.
Yeah, I like his arena. I think it's
because
cool.
Hyde is just like a striking place.
Yeah, I love the look of it.
You got the water. But okay.
One other thing that I thought was cool or funny was I looked up a list of these on like the Dark Souls wiki when I was doing my boss ranking to make sure I didn't forget any. Mm-hmm. And every boss had weaknesses, right? Like fire, lightning, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And one of his listed weaknesses was strafing, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So there's that. I thought that was funny.
But at the end of the day, he's just like... He's another big guy with a big sword. And there's a lot of those in this game.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Flexile Sentry. Is it Flexile or Flexiel? Is it like Flexiel?
I have no idea. It is Flexiel.
Is Phil Swift coming around?
They need some Flex Seal for the leaky floorboards. I'll tell you that much.
He's my number 31.
Ooh, I'll tell you this much. You got the numbers backward. He's my number 13.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you why though.
Yeah, give me the goods, baby.
I forgot about him when I was ranking the bosses. So he got the technically last place for me because he was just so forgettable.
Interesting. I think the only reason I remembered him is because I went back and fought him again to get the warped blade.
Oh, okay.
But I think he's interesting. I like that he has 2 movesets, depending on which side of him you're facing. And I like that the room slowly fills with water. Mm-hmm. Because it makes it so eventually you like can't even roll.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he's too easy. So you beat him too fast. But it's cool because it makes you be more aggressive. Like, I like stuff like that where the boss arena changes the way you play.
That's really cool.
So
I wish
I know, right? It's a good idea, but they didn't do it well enough. Yeah. So you don't even notice, right? I only noticed because I was a sorcerer at first and shot like 50 magic missiles at him before I actually hit him with the sword. So it filled up.
Yeah.
but it's cool. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
But I totally understand. There are so many forgettable like bosses that mean nothing in this game. Yeah. So I feel you.
I actually thought his second appearance before the Lost Sinner is a much scarier face-off.
It's terrifying. And that's what it's like when you fight him if the water raises.
Okay.
Because you like can't run hardly.
That's cool.
Although I felt like he was way bigger in the sewers.
Yeah. He was faster.
Right?
He had more room to roam, let's say.
It was horrifying. I wish that was just the boss arena.
Yeah, me too. But this is also where we like get into Capra Demon stuff, where it's like just take the fog gate out of there, make him just like something that surprises you, because you're not surprised after going through a fog gate because you're expecting it.
Exactly.
Bam.
Just let it be an enemy.
I agree. The next is Ruined Sentinels. Number 23 for me.
Let me find these guys.
These are the tall, lanky, very skinny gold boys, or brass boys. Let's call them.
If Chris was an enemy in this game, he would be a Ruined Sentinel. Mine are number 17.
17, okay.
Part of me likes these guys for some reason. I don't know why. They're used as a normal enemy later in the game, and I think they're a really good enemy.
Yeah.
I like that it lets you fight. Like, it's annoying because it just kind of gotchas. Mm-hmm. When you walk through the fog, one just hits you, which is pretty stupid. But once you know, it's like you just roll. And I like that you can fight one alone, and then you have to fight the 2 downstairs. I like their design.
Yeah. They look like the weapons that they're using.
Yeah. It's like fine. You know, they're definitely like the middle ground of bosses. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I like them as a gank boss though. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of those type of bosses in this game where you have to fight more than one at a time, and they're better than most.
Exactly. Like, it's definitely not the worst gank boss in the game. And it's pretty balanced. You know, they all have different move sets, which I think is kind of cool. Depending on which ones you kill, you get a different challenge. And I liked it. I didn't love it, but I definitely didn't dislike it.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah.
The next one is the Belfry Gargoyles.
Oh,
they're
what
number
trash.
27 for me.
They're number 36 for me.
Yeah. These guys suck. I mean, what a great way to ruin the memory of like a pretty decent boss in the first game. Like a very striking and like they just throw 5 at you. And
So
they're smaller.
And they all have more health than either of the gargoyles from the first game.
I know. They're number 36, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hate them. You know what really peeves me? Is that they use the music from the gargoyles in the first game for this fight.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't deserve to stand where he stood. Like, the gargoyles aren't my favorite fight in the first game, but they're way better than this.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with the Ornstein.
No, is it the same music? I didn't even realize.
I'm pretty sure it's the same music.
That's crushing. Well,
I'm done talking
Belfry
about
Gargoyles.
It's just gargoyles. Like, whatever. The next is
That's
the
also
Lost
the first
City.
boss I summoned help for. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Because I will say, I spent way more time human in this game. Because there's not the penalty of imminent death and invasion.
Uh-huh.
So I summoned for quite a few boss battles without even trying to. You know, because I'm human, so I just see summon signs. So I'll summon someone and just hang out with them and, like, you know, emote to them, and they help me go through the level. But then they're still there for the boss, and I go through the boss. And so there were probably 6 or 7 bosses that I had help for. Granted, not very helpful because the health bar, like, doubles for the boss.
Of course, yeah.
I know.
Makes it pointless.
But that's a thing. So, and I think it's almost necessary for this boss fight. It's just they won't die. They just won't die. Like,
they were actually
they have way too much health.
Sorry. They're actually one of the last bosses I fought because I forgot about them. Like I didn't.
Yeah, they're really out of the way.
Yeah. So I went there really overpowered. And I spent most of the game undead.
Really?
Yeah, I usually do that for these games. Because I don't like the idea of losing something. Like, I don't like getting used to a buff and then losing it at some point. Makes me feel really bad. Or like I really need it. So usually I play undead.
Interesting.
But you can find rings and stuff that mitigate it. Like, I think I had one of the rings, or... Because you can wear like 4 rings now. I think one of them was that you... Huh?
I said which I love. I love that you can wear 4 rings.
Makes sense. I should be able to wear 10.
I know.
20.
That's what I was going to say. What about my toes, baby?
But there's like certain rings that give you a little bit more health if you're undead. So that's how I usually played. The next one is the Lost Sinner.
I'm looking. I expect this to be right in the middle because it is a straight up mediocre boss. Where are you, Lost Sinner? 19.
He's number 4 for me.
Number 4?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm glad you like him, man.
I love the Lost Sinner. Not so much like... I'm kind of like you, where the top 12 is where I really like them. For me, it's really like the top 3 are the ones that I'm really passionate about. Like, really passionate.
Yeah. I feel you. Yeah.
And then
probably
like
the top 5 for me I actually really like.
Yeah. The Lost Sinner, I thought was the first good fight. For me, at least. I like her design. She is a girl. You don't know that until someone tells you.
Yes.
But I thought it was a good fight. It had cool atmosphere. Like, who is this lost sinner? Like, what does that even mean for this character? So it entices you to go digging for lore. Like, what did she do?
Of which there is none.
There is none.
Sadly.
But no, I like her design. I like how it's a very Dark Souls boss where she's jumping around with a sword. So number 19.
And I like that you can take Lucatiel into this fight. Because Lucatiel, I think, is an awesome NPC. She's one of my favorite NPCs in any of the Souls games I've played. You may not have even met her. But Lucatiel of Mira is super cool. And to do her questline, you have to have her survive this boss fight.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
In addition to that, I think it's cool that you can go light the sconces so that she can't put the flames out, and so you can actually see her during the fight. So just another one of those... I know, right? Another one of those Dark Souls 2 things where they let you modify the arena in a way that's beneficial to you if you're going to explore. I just think that's cool. Like, I love the idea, right? And I just wish it was more obvious that you could do these things, because I think it really enhances my opinion of these bosses. Mm-hmm. Oh, you have to fight Flexile Sentry fast. Oh, you can light the sconces. Oh, you can raise the platforms in Dragonrider's arena. Like, it's a pretty constant thing in this game where you can modify the arena to help you.
Yeah.
But they don't.
No, I didn't know that.
They don't explain
That would have been nice. The next one is the Executioner's Chariot.
Looking. It's at 22 for me.
Number 14. And I think that's too high. 22
to me, it is the height of mediocrity. Like, right between 20 and 18, 17, 16.
Yeah. Is it 22 you said?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that it's different.
That's the only redeeming quality. Because, man, fighting it again is the most boring thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But...
And the run-up is so bad.
It's awful.
This is the first bad run-up in the game.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's horrendous.
You have to fight the Phantom, who's going to be hanging around over there in front of the door. Mm-hmm. So it just got to the point where I would go in with 0 souls every time and just pray that I roll quick enough or I dodge him perfectly so that I can start walking through the fog gate, because you can get hit out of the fog gates for a long amount of time.
And that is a legit horrible change. Like, unequivocally bad change they made to the game. Like, there's nothing... What? Just to make it slightly more annoying? This is the thing. Like, if you're doing something to make a game more annoying, it's like there's the delineation, right? Is it making it annoying or is it making it hard? A lot of the run-ups to the bosses, in my opinion, are just annoying. Why can't I just go through the fog gate? Mm-hmm. Why is there 1,000 enemies in front of it? Like, just let me go to it. I just want to fight the boss.
And it's like the area before Duke's Dear Freya, where it's just you open a door and then there's just like 30 spiders that are blocking the ladder so that you can climb up to her area. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Although, did you know if you have a torch, they move away from you and don't attack you?
Yeah. But then there's human enemies there too, so
it doesn't like fix the problem, but it is kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a few enemies in the game that are afraid of fire, and that's cool. But yeah, Executioner's Chariot is... I might switch these two depending on how we talk about it. The next one is the Skeleton Lords.
Ah.
And they're at 17 for me.
Oh, really? Oh, they're probably too low for me.
I almost want to switch them to 14. But I don't think they deserve that either. I think they're just so easy. And it just turns into a mob fight. I mean, you're just fighting skeletons at that point. There's no characteristic besides the arena itself, which is really cool. But then the Skeleton Lords are 30 skeletons that you've been fighting the whole time.
I know, it's like such a bizarre thing.
It's kind of a letdown. But they're number 17 for me. 35. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Really
I wonder what I did wrong. Like I wonder like why I hate them so much. Let me look at my list here. I want to see why I put them that low. Cuz like they don't stick out to me as actively egregious like some of the ones that are lower.
Yeah.
I thought they were too easy. I thought they were pretty frustrating cuz you have the bone wheel skeletons and like you just have to constantly be kiting enemies and like going in for a hit.
Yeah.
I thought they were kind of lazy just because it's a giant gank. And then I think I just didn't like them. Like, there's no X factor for me.
Yeah. That is a good point.
Are they and they're a primal soul, right? No, they're not.
I think they're not?
They're like a lord soul.
There's something.
Which is ridiculous, because they're not just like one of the throwaway bosses, I think.
Yeah.
They're like a main boss. Which is wrong.
It's very wrong.
Bizarre.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I like they're okay as a filler boss.
Yeah.
You know, but like if you try to pretend they're like a legit boss, I'm like, no. What are you talking about?
I agree. I don't know. Did you want to talk about the areas that we've been to so far, or do you just want to keep going through the bosses like we are?
I think only if they're notable.
Okay.
You know?
That hasn't happened yet, so. The next one I have is the Covetous Demon, who I wrote down as Jabba the Hutt.
He is Jabba the Hutt.
He's number 29.
Where are you, Covetous? I think I put him a little too high. I put him at 26, so actually just about normal.
What?
Part of me likes Covetous because I think he's got interesting lore.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't necessarily make sense. It's like he wanted to be with Mythia, who is probably the next boss you're going to talk about, because he was in love with her.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't give him attention, essentially. So he pretty much was lustful for power, and he kept trying to amass power and resources, but he just became a glutton.
Oh.
Yeah, to win her over, to gain her attention, and
turned into a giant neck.
And it became a giant neck. A covetous demon that just coveted what he could not have. So, kind of an interesting story, but he's just too easy and dumb looking.
Yeah. I agree. And yeah, you're right. Myth of the Baneful Queen is next.
Where you at, Mythia?
Kind of lame.
Oosh. For
a Medusa-looking character.
I know, and there's no Petrify.
Petrify.
I'm with you.
It's so easy. That's like the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh my gosh, I better not like stand in front of her. But no, she just has poison.
I wish it was Petrify. I'm with you, man. It's kind of dumb. What was she for you?
15.
Mine was number 20. So we're in the same area.
Yeah, it's like I thought she was one of the few bosses that had like a good moveset.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually the only area that like I changed the arena by draining the poison. Because at first I didn't know that, and that was terrible. It's awful trying to fight her with poison.
That's what I've heard. I've never fought her the normal way, so I'm grateful.
But yeah, she's fine. She's fine.
She's another one where it's like right in the middle. You know, it's like she's nothing to write home about. I wish there was a little more lore, and I wish there was a little more depth. I think if she'd had something where, with her head, like you said, with Petrify, I think it could have been cool, but it's just kind of underbaked.
I agree. And then we get to the best boss of all, the Royal Rap Vanguard.
Oh yeah, baby. They're number 32 for me.
Number 30 for me.
Hey, right around the same with us.
So yeah, this boss didn't know where the boss was. It's a singular rat, right? That you have to hit.
It's Mohawk Rat, yeah. I know. Makes no sense.
I just started killing them all. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't because I was using a greatsword, so I was swinging and hitting all of them. And it took me a while to realize that it's like one rat I have to hit. Because I would kill certain rats and like nothing would happen.
Super bizarre, right?
I like the rats in the game, though.
Me too. I was just going to say the same thing. I'm like, I kind of like the rats, but...
I am a part of the rat covenant.
Me too.
Whatever it's called.
Rat brother.
Twin fangs. I don't know what it's called.
No idea. How weird.
Yeah. I have a quote, actually. My favorite quote in the entire game. I did that with the first game, so I might as well do it with this one. This is from the rat who lets you join the covenant. Humans bring nothing but filth. It's my favorite line in the whole game.
Humans bring nothing but filth.
I thought it's very poignant for a rat to be saying that. So it must be true. I like it. So
yeah. And I think, speaking of that, I think the pit is a really cool area. The area that you go through to get to the Vanguard. Just the idea that it's this place that the humans throw all their trash and dead bodies. And it's like anything they want. They just throw it in this hole.
Yeah, very reminiscent.
And they don't care.
Of Demon Souls.
Oh, yeah.
With that enemy.
Yes, the Leech Monger.
Leech Monger,
the second one. Yeah.
So, very reminiscent. Yeah. I like it. It's like a giant trash can in Majula.
Yeah. I love it. And I love that you can buy like a 500 soul ladder and it's like 2 feet long from the ladder guy.
I hate that there's like so many ladders.
I know. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. He is like a really boring name too, right?
I have no idea what his name is.
I swear it's like Bob the Builder.
Pretty much. Bob the Ladder Guy.
That leads us into the Rotten, who is very reminiscent of the Valley of Defilement bosses.
Yes, he is. And he is number 18 for me.
Hey, he's number 18 for me.
Hey, look at us.
Look at us.
People have a lot of problem with this boss. When I was doing my research, I noticed that a lot of people are bad at this game and couldn't beat him.
That's weird.
Just kidding. If you guys died to the run, you are bad, but don't feel bad about it. No, he's like a weirdly easy boss for a Primal Soul. I thought the Lost Sinner was a good challenge, but I felt like the Rotten was really easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he would like maybe toxic you or something. But he just kind of slowly smacks with his machete and you just walk left or dodge and
yeah, the most dangerous thing in the fight is the fire.
Yeah, because you strafe into it and die. Or he does a lot of attacks that like throw you in the air if you're not lucky. Yeah.
It's very odd.
He again for me is the image of mediocrity.
Yeah.
He's meh.
I agree. Here's a real mediocre boy. The Smelter Demon.
Hello. I'm with you. He's number 16 for me.
He's 22 for me.
Nice. I could see him anywhere in that range. 16 and 22. People really like this boss for some reason.
It's crazy.
I find him to be fine. You know? Like, he's all right. I don't have a problem with him, I suppose. Yeah.
I feel like he was one of the only challenging bosses for me.
And yeah, he's a little challenging.
I think some of his hitboxes are a little cheap.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And the fact that he hurts you if you try to get close to him after the second phase is just annoying. And there's no way you can stop that. It's not like the poison with Mytha.
Yeah, I don't I don't love it. At the same time, part of me is like, oh, well, it just encourages you to use life gems because they keep up with the burn. But at the same time, I just think he's all right. You know, he's like mediocre. I think it's really lame that's how. Sword. Yeah, I wish he was more fiery, like more fire based and less sword based.
More like a fire lurker.
Yes, more like fire lurker.
That would be nice.
And I think lore-wise, it's really lame that he killed the old Iron King. You know?
He's such a pushover.
Right? But then the old Iron King had like struggled to defeat alone. You know, Sir Alone, who's much harder. Mm-hmm. And he also like is the final boss of the area. So
yeah. And he's
I always think it's odd.
So incredibly easy to cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the bosses.
Yes.
But yeah, the next is the Old Iron King, and he's number 13 for me, actually.
Oh, he's up there. That's good. He's number 23 for me.
Okay. Yeah. He's really easy. His arena is all right. He was much harder the first time, I remember, like the first time I played this game. But then once you find out that you can just hide behind the wall and skip all of his attacks until he like gets tired.
Puts his fingers down.
His little fingers on the brick. Yeah, and then you just attack him with that. And I don't know. He's kind of a unimaginative design.
Yeah. It's like, he looks like a Balrog or something.
Like a lazy Balrog.
Like I really wished it was gonna be like a deformed version of a man that's like been burned by lava.
He's like he's like the equivalent design wise of Saith or Seath.
Yeah.
He's just like a dragon with like human muscular arms, and it's just weird looking.
It's bizarre. Like I kind of wish he was almost more of a pyromancer, and he like floated as like a burning body that like, you know, used arms of lava to attack you or something, and then you had a chance to attack him. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
it is really annoying though that you can get knocked into the lava like so easily.
Yeah, they have like those very convenient holes just in the middle. Or in that one spot where you would want to be.
Of course.
But yeah, he's fine. Number 13 for me.
That's a good spot for him.
I already see we have, spoiler alert, he's tied with the Rotten.
Is he really?
Yeah. The next one
more than the Rotten.
Sorry?
I said I think I like him more than the Rotten.
Yeah, I think so too. The next one I have is the Scorpionist Nachka.
Nachka. What's
she is? Quelaag, but better.
What?
Number 16. I don't know if she's better. Like, I don't think she's better lore wise, but she is like arena wise and the fight itself.
Oh,
she's a little more articulated than Quelaag, who just like poops lava. Like, I think it's a better fight. Like, she has the ability to go burrow under the sand and then attack you. And she has a way of like defending herself, which most of the bosses don't do. But she has the legs that like defend, so you have to like move around her. I like Quelaag more. Don't get me wrong. But the fight wise,
you can like her less.
But the fight is better than Quelaag.
That's interesting. I think I beat her too quickly. Like, I think my fight with Nachka lasted approximately 40 seconds. It was just like over so quickly. That's lame. I kind of want to go fight her now.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to experience the goodness.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Apparently.
And she was
like 31 for me.
31. Oh my gosh.
It's probably too harsh, but I didn't see the goodness. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Again, if they're not in the top 3, I don't really care.
This is pretty much true.
I do like the Lost Sinner, but yeah.
I like my top 5.
Yeah.
Everything else is like meh.
Yeah.
Just telling.
Speaking of meh. Now, I did rank this one, even though I didn't fight it, but you fought it. And it's the Royal Rat Authority.
Oh gosh. Where did you rank it?
I put it 35. It's just a big rat.
It's a freaking weird dog rat thing. It's horrible. I put it at 37.
Okay.
Almost certainly cementing its spot at the bottom.
Fight it. Dude, yeah, I was thinking like
you would have ranked it lower.
like technically because like there's certain bosses I didn't fight but Josh fought, and I think it might be on the bottom of the list of enemies I didn't fight, and I did rank them by like aesthetic or lore wise kind of, but yeah, just giant weird looking red rat.
Dude, this fight's hellish because there are 4 rats in the middle that will, if you don't kill them with pretty much one ultra great sword swing, they will infect you with toxic, like really, really, really quickly.
You said 37, so right?
Yeah, he's number 37 for me. And while you're fighting the rats, he'll jump down, and he's pretty much Sif without a sword. That's how it feels to fight them.
Oh, okay.
It's horrendous.
That's another thing I hate about this game is like you have to fight the little minions in the boss fight, and then the boss shows up. I hate that.
It's definitely not handled very well very often. Like I think that Ilana, the Squalid Queen, handles it pretty well, and I don't hate it in that fight. But it's like controlled. It's like they didn't just let the guy in charge of ganks go wild, you know?
Yeah.
Like they kept him in check. But with this fight, the mobs are the real enemy. Like the dog is fine. You can kill him. It's just those toxic rats. It's horrible.
They're all Capra Demon.
That is correct.
Next I have is Prowling Magus and his congregation.
Oof. He is 33 for me.
He breached top 20.
Really?
I really like you said 35, right?
I said 33, sir.
Okay. I really like his arena kind of, and I like the visuals of his fight. You know, he's a priest and he has his congregation. They're just like these people crawling on the ground. It's a little odd like where he's placed.
Yeah.
You go from like the top of the hill where there's like an army from Lord of the Rings, and then you go down a little bit and there's these workers who kill themselves with boulders, and then you go into this building where there's a bunch of spiders, and then you run into the fog gate, and then he's just there
chilling
with his congregation right before like a whole mining area with Dukester Freya. But yeah, he's really easy. He might be the easiest boss in the game.
I think he probably is. It is such a weird fight, and it's like it feels so out of place. You know, like why is this happening? It feels like you just walked in on something.
Yeah, kind of. It's weird.
It's like they're in the middle of a ceremony and you just kind of walked in. But you're right. There is a certain charm to the fight because it's so weird. I don't hate it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think I mostly ranked that low just because of how easy it was and how frustrating it can be. Since it's kind of hard to hit the guys on the floor if you don't have like a weapon with a certain move set, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. I agree. But yeah. The next one. Dukes Dear Freya.
Freja.
Is it Freja?
Oh, there. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's Freya. Let me look here. I hope it's Freja though. Just because
Freja would be great.
Oh, this is the boss I forgot. Like to me, this boss is so forgettable. I ranked her at 25.
She's number 11 for me.
Ooh, you know, Chris, you just have a thing for big spiders.
I do. But she is way too easy, of course. I like the idea that the actual primal soul that you're getting is from the dragon that she killed.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
That's so cool. That's one of the coolest things in the game. And I just love that. I love the environmental storytelling with Duke's Freya. Not so much the fight.
And I do love the cinematic where she climbs out. Or like where the spiders climb out. That's so cool, of the dragon's mouth. Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
But that's it. I mean, she didn't get top 10. She didn't deserve it. But the visuals and the presentation was there.
Yes. Did you ever cut off her head or one of the heads?
Yeah.
Did you ever roll it around?
No.
Because you can roll it around and the spiders are scared of it.
Really? That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, like so it's kind of like the torch. Also, I had a torch during this fight, so it was just so easy because the spiders never bothered me.
Yeah. Not having you in this chair is making this chair really annoying.
It's nothing without me.
That's right. So now we have, I think we have all the primal souls at this point.
Oh,
right?
Look at us. I think so.
Or is the last one in the castle, or you need all of them to enter the castle?
I think you need all of them to get in.
I think so too.
Also, really quickly.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really cool is that you don't actually have to get any of the primal souls if you don't want to. You just have to get 12 million souls, I think.
That's it?
The door opens. Something like that, yeah. There's it. It's just 12 million. But, for example, I think most speedrunners, when they do the game, they do, they just bonfire Ascetic the Rotten because it's the quickest one to get to.
Oh.
And it's kind of interesting. They just like farm him like 4 or 5 times, and then they have the souls, and they just go through instead of having to go through all the areas.
That would be an easy boss to do.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's kind of interesting. I never even thought of doing that. Like, that's wild to me. But it's kind of interesting that you can.
The game gives the player a lot of liberty to do what they want, kind of. And that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's cool.
But we have the dual Dragonriders.
Oh, yes.
Now let's see. Okay, so they did rank lower than the actual Dragonrider for me at 28.
By how much?
Just 2.
Mine were 1 above them. They were 27.
Okay.
Pretty much the same, you know?
Perfect. Yeah.
They are like... They're probably the easiest gank in the game, at least in my opinion. I like that you can break the guy's structure that he's standing on with the bow. It's kind of cool. It's fine, you know? Overall, just a really easy boss, and they feel really out of place to me. Like, why are they there?
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt. Like, why isn't it like the Queen's Guard? To me, that would make way more sense.
Yeah.
Because it's right before Nashandra, right?
No. There's a couple
before
more.
You meet her in human form, I mean.
Oh, yeah. I think it's actually after you meet her in human form.
Oh, is it right after?
Well, I think so. One of the two.
Either way, it feels weird that it's there. Like, why are these Dragon Riders chilling here?
The whole castle's
I
kind of
get
weird.
That they're Dragon Riders.
The whole castle's kind of weird.
Yeah, I definitely, for me, I actually really like Dren Lake, the castle. Like, I think it's a cool area.
I think going up to
it's
really cool.
Yes, the run-up's awesome.
I actually was listening to that song, I Need a Hero, while fighting in this castle. And that song was stuck in my head for most of the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, Shrek.
Yeah, it was just like Shrek.
It's just like Shrek. Am I Puss in Boots?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I am.
Now stop talking.
Excuse me.
The next one is the Looking Glass Knight.
The Looking Glass Knight. He's number 10 for me.
He's number 3 for me.
Really?
I
think he's fine.
His design.
I'm glad.
Fight-wise, it's okay. He puts up a good fight. He can summon those like shadows or whatever to help him out,
which is cool.
Yeah, and I just like his whole like the whole area of fighting him. It's like broken part of the castle. It's raining, and he just has a cool design. He has a mirror for a shield.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, why number 10? So he's top 10 for you, but you don't seem too hot on him, which is fine.
I like him. I just don't love him.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like every boss that's higher than him more. Besides maybe old Dragon Slayer.
Okay.
I think I probably like old Dragon Slayer less. I'd probably switch those if I could. Looking Glass Knight's fine. I really appreciate they don't give me a grueling run-up that I can just run to him from the bonfire and it's like 10 seconds. But yeah, I think he's good. He's a good boss, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think most of... I just love how he looks.
His design's awesome. And I think that's the big thing for him, for sure.
But now we get to the Demon of Song.
They are number 15 for me.
They?
I don't know.
He is number 1 for me.
Really? I see that. I love his design.
Adore him. He was like the first time in the whole game where I was just like, ugh, I didn't want to kill him because I just loved being around him. He's so cool. He's a giant toad. He's a demon living inside a toad.
I know, it's awesome.
So cool. And I thought his movesets were really cool. It just felt really good to fight him. And that he's defended, or he's protected inside the mouth. But then when he crawls out with his long lanky arms, that's when you can fight him. I just absolutely love him.
I think the Demon of Song is a great boss. I agree. I think he's super cool. And I love the lore around it, that they're all singing to quiet the beast and stop it from, terrorizing them. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have ranked higher for me because I also very much like the Demon of Song.
He is by a country mile the best thing Dark Souls 2 has ever done for me.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Dark Souls 2 exists for this boss for me.
Wow.
I love him. He's so cool.
I think it's really cool. And I think it's a good fight too. I like that he's invulnerable except for when he's being aggressive. I think that's cool.
I thought it was a legitimately good fight that I wanted to take the time with him. I don't know why.
The stakes are high though, because if you do that run up again, you will most likely kill yourself.
Oh my gosh, that run up is awful.
I beat him on my first try, and I was so happy. It was pure luck that I made it.
Terrible. But we get to Velstad. I think that's how you say his name. He is the royal. Is it Aegis?
Yes.
He is guarding Vendrick.
Yes, he is. I love Velstad.
He's number 2 for me.
That's a good place for him. I have him at number 6.
Okay.
I like Velstad.
Yeah, tell me about him.
Well, the lore is really cool. He was the right hand of Vendrick during the height of Drang Lake. And he was best friends with the king's left hand, who becomes the Fume Knight. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole thing that we'll get into. But I love the dichotomy between the Fume Knight and Velstad. And I love that Velstad's like a super cleric. He's got this giant mace that's somehow also like a sacred chime. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
And his design is so cool. It's so awesome. Just like this giant gold hulking thing. Mm-hmm. And it's very touching that he stays long after Vendrick has forgone his own soul and forgone the crown and he's denied himself the throne of want. And Velstad is just there, like, faithfully defending his friend, you know? I just think that's so touching. So
Yeah.
I love Velstad.
He is by far the most ominous boss to me. Where he's legitimately, like, intimidating. I think they blend that religious horror really well with it. Like, he might be a church man, but he will mess you up. Like, he looks like he lives off, like, baby's blood or something. Like, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
He was a great fight too. Like, he was a very fair fight. And I think they kind of do him dirty with Ilana by making him one of the summons. But I don't know. I think he's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm so happy he's ranked so high.
Yes, sir.
But then we get into Vendrick, who's the ruler of Drenlaic. I didn't fight him, but he ranked top of all the bosses I didn't fight for lore reasons.
Yeah.
He is, I think he might be the best part of the game. Because it's so sad. Because you walk into his chamber and he has become so weak he can't even wear the clothes on his back. And you're there to get what again from him? You have to get something from him.
I think you're there to go into his memory.
That's right.
Or to get the King's Ring. One of the two.
You don't have to fight him, and I think he's just, like, a really cool thing. It sucks though that you need the giant souls to fight him, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the game tells you used only for souls. And there's only 5 in the game.
Stupid. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can use the
bonfire aesthetic.
Bonfire thing, but the game doesn't tell you that.
I know. I'm with you. I think it's stupid. They shouldn't have done it the way they did.
Yeah. But how you feel? Did you fought Vendrick?
I did.
Killed him?
I murdered him. I took him out back. No.
Yeah.
I really like Vendrick. And I won't go into the lore for Vendrick because that's going to be the entire other podcast, essentially.
Pretty much.
Vendrick is very much the center of everything. For Dark Souls 2. He's just such an awesome character. He is the quintessential tragic hero. And I think he's just so cool. He's probably my favorite character in all of Soulsborne. I just think he's awesome. Especially as you just learn more about him and what he did and what he didn't do. He's just really cool.
Yeah.
The boss fight itself is very easy. You know, once you have him down to normal defense.
Yeah.
I mean, his combo can one-shot you, but get good. I know that's not like the good thing to say, but
yeah,
you know, I think it's good that he's so strong, even in his hollowed state or whatever.
Yeah,
he's just awesome. And I love the music that plays, like the little stings, like do do do, you know, whenever you're in there. And if I remember correctly, the boss fight itself doesn't have very much music. It's very, very low key.
Yeah. It's poignant.
So, but anyways, he's my number 1.
He's your number 1. Okay. Well,
but I just love Vendrick, so he'll probably be in the middle somewhere. Where do he rank for you? Since he was the bottom of or the top of the bosses you didn't fight.
He was 33, sadly.
It's okay, Vendrick.
Yeah.
Mechanically, he's definitely not the best boss fight, and there's a lot of annoying stuff with those giant souls. So I think
the
that's
lore.
Going to leave him at a
it's
good
the lore
spot.
that makes these bosses count most of the time.
For sure.
But then we get into like Aldia's, you know, his estate or whatever, and we fight the Guardian Dragon, which is like one of the most out of place bosses in the game for me. I felt like I was in Jurassic Park 3 playing through it.
Jurassic
World.
But
he did rank number 10 for me.
Really?
I thought he was one of the best dragon fights in the game. that I've ever liked.
That is, it's funny since he's actually the worst dragon fight in the game.
It reminds me of
I put him at...
Go on.
I put him at 30, sorry.
30? Okay.
30, yeah. Balances him out.
He reminds me of the first boss in Phantasy Star Online.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just... I liked it. Stage is totally out of place. It makes no sense. Like, I don't get it. But I guess you're in, like, the giant's trees or whatever. Is
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I get that the dragon area is part of Aldia's keep because he created the ancient dragon using a giant soul.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole thing, you know? But it feels very disconnected and, like, disjointed. And
it's all sunny all of a sudden.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. I really dislike that fight. It felt like he was never on the ground. He was always just firing magic at me from the ceiling. So maybe I just had bad luck.
So I feel the same way about another fight, but
You're incorrect. Sin is the best.
The next one I have is Giant Lord.
My friend.
Higher than I think I want him to rank. He's number 9 for me.
Hey, he's number 9 for me. I really like the Giant Lord. And this is speculation. I don't know if anyone else has said this. I'm sure someone else has. But I feel like he is the Lost Giant.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Right? Like, he has a really similar attack pattern, and it kind of makes sense why he would hate you so much. Like, why he'd aggro so much to rip his own arm off to fight you if you'd already defeated him once before, you know, in the memory.
Yeah.
I really like the Giant Lord. There's just something about him. I love his design. I spent a ton of time with this boss because I used the bonfire ascetic to farm it, and I couldn't stop myself because it was like the souls were too good, and I was making like 500,000 souls a run. I was an addict.
Yeah.
But because of that, I spent a lot of time looking at him. I just love the simple like gold and like robes that he wore, and his sword just looks so cool. I don't know. I just really liked his design.
I'm glad. I like
easy fight though.
I hate the certain cinematic things the game tries to do. One, like, maybe I don't hate it, but it annoys me. Like running up to the Giant Lord and the giant statue head comes tumbling towards you, or when you're going up towards like the dragon keep, where the ancient dragon is, like the bridge is like swaying.
Oh, that makes me so sick.
Yeah,
walking on it. I'm with you.
It's more of a pet peeve than anything. I thought the fight was really good. It's interesting that you can go do this kind of stuff in the Souls game because you don't really do it ever again. I mean, kind of you could almost look at it as its version of Painted Worlds, like going through these memories instead. But I like that the Painted Worlds are actually current and they're happening, and you're changing things in the Painted World when this is like a timed memory.
It's so bizarre to me that they're timed.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why are they timed?
Yeah.
I really wish that instead of being like a weird chunk of a memory, it was like the entire area of the castle of the Forest of Fallen Giants in the past in like a totally different configuration.
Yeah.
Like almost like Darkroot Basin in Lucatiel.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been cool.
I agree.
But I kind of feel like they do miss the mark a little bit here. With all the different memories, only one of them matters. And most of them are pretty lame, I think.
I felt like I was playing through The Lord of the Rings Return of the King on GameCube.
Yes.
That's what it felt like.
Exactly. I mean, you're totally right, man. That's so funny.
It's out of place. But I dig it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, I'm glad they did it because it's just such an interesting, weird thing they did. But it definitely feels a little dissonant with the rest of the game. So it's kind of weird.
The next one is my number 7. I don't know why. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. And it's the Throne Watcher and Throne Defender. I wish they had names. I wish they were like Velstad.
I know. I just wish it was Velstad and frickin' whatever the other guy's name is, who I can't remember his actual name. It's like Rainier or something. I'm sorry, I'm looking for him. They have number 21 for me.
21. Wow.
I don't love this boss. These bosses. I'm not a giant fan.
Yeah. I guess I'm not really either. I just felt like they were...
find them... No, you go.
I just thought they were more of a fight than the rest of the other bosses. That's only because you're fighting 2 of them.
Exactly. They're very squishy. Like, they don't have a lot of health, which I found interesting. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like they should have been a boss where the twin Dragonriders were.
Yeah.
Like, they should have just been there, and then it could have just been Nashandra.
Absolutely.
And Nashandra could have been a better boss. You know, like...
Absolutely.
That's how I feel. Because it just feels out of place, and it's a little dumb that you fight them, and then the cutscene plays for Nashandra. Like, it's pretty lame.
Yeah.
That you are almost guaranteed to lose the souls. I didn't, just because I summoned, like... I was in human form, and there were like 15 summons along the way, so I had like an army with me. Yeah. I had like 4 summons. It was awesome. It was pretty funny. But, yeah, dude, it was just weird. I feel... And then I went back and fought the Throne Defenders on my own, because I wanted to get the real experience. Mm-hmm. They're fine. They're like too easy and too hard.
Yeah, it's odd.
It is the weirdest fight. I think they look cool. But I wish they had more personality and like meaning. Anyway,
I agree.
That's how I feel.
No, I agree. I wish that they just had personality, like you said. Give them names. Why is one a watcher and one a defender? I don't understand.
I have no idea. What is she watching?
And yeah, perfect thing to say. Just get rid of the dual Dragon Riders. Replace them. It would make way more sense if they're guarding... Lissandra.
The throne.
The throne.
Yeah, like it's so weird to me.
And I killed them really early on, and it didn't go into the cutscene for Nashandra because I was missing something. And I think it was missing the giant's memory thing.
Oh, yeah.
So then I had to go back, and then I did a bunch of other things before Nashandra. I think I did all the DLC before fighting Nashandra.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird. My number 36 is Ancient Dragon. I don't know where he falls in for you, but it's because I didn't fight him.
I put him at number 5.
Number 5?
You didn't play any of the good bosses. No.
I guess
I
not.
really liked Ancient Dragon. But you know, I don't know why I had such a good time with Ancient Dragon. Because Ancient Dragon does not deserve to be so high up. Like, I know that within me.
No, he won't be high up. I promise.
Not anymore. Not anymore. For those who are confused right now, we're exchanging our lists so that Chris can come up with the definitive Dark Souls 2 boss ranking at the end. So, yeah, 5 and like 30 it's not a good combo. He'll be in the middle. But I really like him. I think it's partially because I fought him while my mom was there, and so she and I were just talking about it, and she was trying to like bounce ideas off of me, like, oh, could you do this? Could you do that? It was just, I think anything's funner when you're experiencing it with someone else. And I just like him. I don't know. I love that he's so huge, and I like his little stomps. I just find him hilarious. And I like when you hit his tail, it like quivers like really weirdly. Like it's got to be a bug. Like that can't be on purpose. It quivers so violently, and it doesn't shake. It quivers. Like it's a little disturbing. And he can like one-shot you with most attacks. I just like him. I just think he's a cool boss. And then you get a giant soul for it.
Yeah.
which I think is interesting lore-wise, because it's like Aldio's trying to make a dragon, and like, oh, did he infuse it with some giant soul? You know, it's interesting.
Yeah. I'm glad.
But I totally get, even though you didn't fight it, I totally get why someone would not like the fight. I think I just like it because I enjoyed the experience.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to get into the DLCs before Nashandra.
Or as Vendrick calls her, Chandra. Cute little nickname he had for her there. It's interesting how fond he is of her. Sorry, excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
It's for a different episode anyway.
Yeah. Ilana. The squalid queen.
She's squalid like a pig.
Number 6 for me.
I gotta look in the mud for her. I like her too. She is number 12 for me.
Nice.
She's where I draw the line between good and completely forgettable. So pretty much below 12 I don't like.
It's perfect.
I think she's a cool boss. I love Velstad returning in like a gross pukey green, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think he's cool. Like, what does that mean? What are the lore implications? Why is Velstad down there? What is happening? Like, I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's the most summoned, or not summoned, I think she's the most balanced boss that's a gank in the game.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that she managed to be a sorceress and like stick to that.
She keeps you away from her really well.
Yeah. I think she's cool. And she can summon the pigs from Majula.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So I like her. I think she's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I totally agree. Her design is pretty cool. It's a little Diablo 3-esque for me.
Yes. And so is Nashandra.
Yeah. Not super fond of either of their designs, but I really like getting to Ilana. I like her arena. And then fighting her is a really good fight. I agree.
What do you have to say about Shulva in general? Since we're breaching the DLCs here.
The DLC areas, Shulva in particular, was alright. I think the DLCs, for there to be 3 of them, were too long. I would have rather had it be the one long one, like in Dark Souls 1, or the 2 really balanced ones in Dark Souls 3. Having 3 pretty long DLCs, and with them being like way harder than the regular game, was a bit much.
Do you want to know what they should have done to fix this?
Anything, please tell me.
So, you know how there's like the pretty good portion of Dark Souls 2 where you're getting the 4 primal souls? And then Vendrick's like, you have to do a bunch of stuff with giant souls that doesn't make sense. Ixnay all that crap. Get everything that has to do with the giant souls out of the game. Ancient Dragon, all these keep. Like, I get it, there's lore significance, I don't care. Just have the DLCs be the things that you have to go after. You have to go get the crowns.
Yeah.
That would have been so much better.
Yeah, it would have been.
And then you just get rid of like the half of the game that's lame and not good. Just have the DLCs be there, because I think the DLCs are really good. Bada bing, bada boom. You have all the crowns. For some reason, that means you can open up the Throne of Want. Boom.
Yeah.
Would have been so much better.
It would have been.
But
I thought the areas were fine though. You know, in hindsight, I like the areas. I'm trying to even remember what one of the DLCs was.
There's Eliam Lois.
Oh, I remember. I'm thinking of the last one. Is what I'm forgetting.
Is that the ice one or Broom?
The ice one.
Yeah, Eliam Lois.
I
think they're all super good areas. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I can interject really quick.
No,
I think Shulva is awesome. Like, and I did not like it at first. It took me a while to understand it. But once I understood that it is a Zelda level and you're supposed to be using your bow to like hit switches and like move stuff around.
That's really cool.
It totally changed my perspective on it. I think it just became super cool. There were all these puzzles that you had to like at one point in the room with all the spikes in it, after you get the spikes down, you have to like go to different areas in the room so you can see through like these holes to hit a switch on the other side and make it turn. And it just, there were a bunch of things like that that really made me appreciate it. And especially because the more switches you hit with the arrows, the more secret passageways there are and the more the level loops back in on itself. And it just felt very Dark Souls. And I loved just the whole vibe of the place. I thought it was super cool. So I really liked it.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I wasn't super hot on Shulva.
And I totally get that. I think if you're not like aware of the bow stuff and you're not into it, it's a slog.
No, I think the bow stuff's really cool. I think there's just a lot of areas that were maybe underutilized. Like there's that whole area with those weird dragons at the bottom.
Yeah.
And there's like a few elevator things where it's like, man, I can get there, but I'm missing something. Or like, I'm at the elevator, but I need to find the other part of the elevator so that I can access this part of the elevator. It was good. It was fine.
Yeah, like, because you need the key, the dragon stone, to get through the level and to make the elevators work.
Yeah.
But it is not in a place that like says to you, this is an important item, you need to go get it.
Mm-hmm. Which
was a misstep, I think. I think they should have made it more prominent so you knew to go get it.
I agree. But after Ilana, we have Sin, the Slumbering Dragon. I had the same problem you did with Guardian Dragon. Sin would never be in my range.
Mm-hmm.
Always flying at Mach 10 speed, never touching the ground. He probably was the toughest fight for me. Or at least he took the longest. But I killed him my first try. I was really happy with that. But I had to like...
Oh, me too.
I used lightning stuff. And my greatsword kept breaking. It would break in like 3 hits. Dang. So, yeah, it was really weird. Really annoying. That's why he's number 24 for me.
Oof. Number 24. He's number 3 for me.
Yeah.
I really like Sin. He reminded me of Calamite, but I thought he was better than Calamite. I just thought he was an awesome dragon fight. He was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Although, every once in a while, you're right. He does get into this weird spam where he wants to jump up and fly at you. But if he just is like doing what I think he's programmed to actually do, which is do that every once in a while and then just, do his variety of attacks on the ground, I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
And what sword were you using for most of the game? I don't think we got into this. What weapon was your weapon of choice? Just like the standard one?
Yeah. I thought...
How much...
Sorry.
No, you go.
I thought if I did kind of the same thing that I did with Dark Souls 1, I can make more of a fair comparison because I'm playing the same way.
I feel you. Yeah. How much damage would you do with like each hit or whatever?
Between 300 and 400. Curious. Like 412, I think, was a number I saw all the time.
Ooh, baby. You gotta go back and get the Fume Ultra Great Sword.
I've heard that's really good.
I would do like 800 damage every single time. And if it was like a small enemy, it was like 1,000, 1,300. Like
don't
ridiculous
you need DLC
numbers.
2 for that, or?
Yeah. You need to go to Broom Tower and kill the Fume Knight.
I did all the DLCs in order.
Oh, I see.
So, that would have been nice.
Although I'm telling you, man, Great Club is stupid. Like in this game, I would do 700, 800 damage with the Great Club as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is always, and I wasn't even using the Great Club. I was using the large club. Think of what I could have done with the Great Club.
But that's nice. Yeah, sounds fine. I'm glad you like him. I think he has a cool story, but we'll get into that later.
That's right.
Then we have the Grave Robber. He's the 3 Dark Phantoms or whatever. Neither of us fought him. So he doesn't even count.
Get out of here.
And like who'd care? He would be like, when I was ranking all of these, even though I didn't fight them, they were on the last because that's so boring and lazy.
I know. It's awful. It's like at least let them be player characters, but then that'd be too hard because there's 3 of them. Oh, it's just bad.
I agree. But next is Blue Smelter Demon. Number 37 for me.
He is the ultimate meh. He is number 34 for me.
Yep.
I fought him once, and the Iron Passage was so horrible. Like, how did someone let that into the game? The run up to Smelter Demon 2.0 is horrible.
I didn't even do it.
It's okay, so it's like a long passageway full of mages that you can't get to, and like a bunch of melee enemies on the ground with you. And half the spells the mages are casting are spells to make you move slower. Dude, it's so bad.
It's awful.
And it's like 4 rooms of it, and then the Smelter Demon. And when I fought him, I got him down to like a quarter health, but it was like every attack I did just did like 50 damage. Like nothing I could do. I couldn't do anything to do more damage to him. It was ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I'm not dealing with that crap, so.
No one is.
Never beat him.
Next is Fume Knight.
Fume.
What's your number for Fume?
I really like Fume. I put him at number 2.
Wow, he's number 21.
Really? I think he's a great boss. I don't know why everyone thinks he's that bad. I didn't think he was super hard.
I don't know if he's even bad.
People say he's the hardest boss in all of Souls.
What?
Pretty routinely, people say he's the hardest boss in any of the games.
It's not that hard.
I thought he was a challenging boss. You know, like a good boss.
I wrote down very balanced fight.
Yeah. And I think his lore is very cool, right? Like, he's cast down from glory pretty much because he was trying to tell Vendrick that Nashandra was a bad thing. Anyway, he's called a rebel, and he's cast out of Dring Lake for that, and he goes searching for new purpose and finds the ruins of Broom Tower. And anyway, there he meets whichever fraction of Manus is there. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But she's there, and she corrupts him and gives him power, and that's why he's so powerful. But yeah, I think he's awesome. I don't know
why he ranks so low for me. I don't know why. I don't know if I were to change. He would probably replace Watcher and Defender for me.
That's good.
Pretty easily. But I'll stick with what I wrote down. There had to have been a reason, right?
Had to have been.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like that you can alter his arena again by using the smelter wedges.
Yeah. I think I did that. Cool. What did that do, actually?
So if you don't do that, each of those heals him if he goes close to it.
That's awful.
I know.
That's a terrible thing.
I know. It's super bad. But I think it's a really good boss fight. I like Broom Tower. I don't like it nearly as much as I like Shulva or even Eliam Lois. It's probably my least favorite area of the DLCs.
I agree.
But it's aight. It is aight.
I remember skipping through a lot of Broom Tower.
Yes. And weirdly enough, Broom Tower actually has some of the best lore in the game. The story between the old Iron King and Sir Alon is like really cool and pretty poignant. And we'll get to that when we get to Sir Alon, which may or may not be the next thing.
It is.
Oh, well, perfect. I'll just go into that really quickly then.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, but he's 34 because I didn't fight him.
You didn't fight Sir Alon?
Mm.
Did you just not find him?
I didn't find him.
Just didn't feel like it. Did you think Fume Knight was the final boss or something of that area?
Yeah. Is he? Because you get the crown.
No. You fight Fume Knight, and then he makes it so you can access Sir Alon's armor at the top of the tower.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, that's fine. And I don't think the crown activates until after Sir Alon.
I was wondering,
Does that make sense?
What do the crowns do?
Yeah, like the crowns are infused with power, but not until you beat the person that has the power infused into the crown. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the crowns, actually, once you've defeated Vendrick and you have his crown, they make it so you can't go hollow.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember,
which is kind of cool. But the story of Sir Alon and my friend, the Old Iron King, is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you almost 1,000% remember from suffering through the Iron Keep, the Alon Knights look oriental. Just kidding. They look, they got katanas, and they have a different fighting style from like any of the other knights you fight in the game. And that's because the Old Iron King was not always an Old Iron King. He was kind of just like a little tiny lord. And he eventually rises to power with the help of some wandering knight whose name is Sir Alon. He comes from an eastern land, and he brings with him like a new fighting style and like these light but powerful blades. Anyway, pretty much katanas. And he becomes like the confidant of the Old Iron King. But the Old Iron King, I'm just going to call him the Iron King, is kind of just consumed with power over time. And he's just lustful to have power over the regions around him. And he slowly conquers everybody, just like Vendrick did, just like the King of Lois did, and, just like everyone does. That's kind of the cycle, right? Anyways, the Iron King kind of begins building an empire on iron, obviously, but also on brutality. Eventually, the undead curse starts, and the way he deals with it is by going on rampages through the Huntsman's copse and just rounding up undead and murdering them. He was the one who built the Executioner's Chariot. He would just throw undead in there and let them die for eternity. But that's beside the point. Once he starts going crazy and being horrible, essentially, like being so bad that he's just torturing people, that's when Sir Alon leaves his side and flees to Broom Tower.
Yeah.
Pretty much what the story of Broom Tower is, you mostly see it when you go into the memory of Sir Alon, which I guess you never did. But the memory of Sir Alon, because you use the Ashen Heart to go into his memories like you do with the giants, you're in this giant run-up where you have to fight through like 30 Alon Knights and just this giant tower like going up and up and up and up until you come up on it's just Sir Alon and you. And in the memory, you are the Iron King. Like, you're not you.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. And so it's pretty much the Iron King's memory of having gone through, slaughtered all of his men that defected with Sir Alon, and then killing his own best friend. And then at the top of Broom Tower, there's Sir Alon's armor, which he could never really throw away. He, even in death, he honors his best friend who he killed. I don't know. It's really, really depressing. It's nice. One of the worst run-ups in the game because you have to fight all those knights over and over. But to me, it just makes so much sense lore-wise. Yeah. And it's so, poignant lore-wise that, it has to be okay, and I'm okay with it, even though it's painful.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, though. Go listen to someone who knows it better than me. Look up Sir Alon Vadi Vidya or whatever, because he does a great job explaining it.
So is he number 1 for you, then?
Oh, excuse me, no. He is number... Because I actually don't like the fight with him at all. He is number 7.
Huh.
He's a weird fight. Looks cool though. The floor's all shiny.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and some videos of him. It's nice.
Yeah. It's an nice fight. I don't hate it.
But then we get into the Burnt Ivory King.
Yes.
Which I'm forgetting what he even is. Who is the Burnt Ivory?
What do you mean? The Burnt Ivory King was the king of Ilium
he's
Lois.
the last boss in... Yeah, that's right. I wrote down feels like I'm in a different game.
Oh, I love him. But I love all the DLCs. He's number 14 for me.
Didn't love him that much.
No, apparently not. I do like Ilium Lois, though. It was the first DLC I did for some reason. And I'll tell you this much. I don't love all of William Lois because Ava is like the worst. But I really like the way the area cuts back on itself over and over, and you find all these different shortcuts and like nooks and crannies. I think it's really cool. So I really like Eliam Lois, the area. And I love how you can change his boss fight by like finding knights around and like rescuing them.
Yeah,
that's so cool. And this game, this is the area, ironically, which is easily most connected to Dark Souls 1. Mm-hmm. Because their castle is built on top of the Chaos Flame.
Yeah.
And so everything he's doing is he's trying to stop the chaos from spreading. And that's why he went down there. He and his knights went down there to try to quench the chaos one last time, but they succumbed to it and died. And so you're there pretty much just to release them and try to stop the chaos as well.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very cool.
It's just very cinematic. It's cool.
Yeah, it is very cinematic. It's one of the things I don't like about...
I love when you drop in with all of them. It's awesome. I love it.
It feels like it feels like a Destiny raid or something.
I guess, yeah. It's a very different structure.
You don't fight the boss immediately. You have to like close the portals first, and then you can fight the boss. Yeah, he's number 12 for me.
Nice.
Ava, the king's pet.
Gosh,
he ranks
trash boss.
The lowest in all the bosses that I've fought at 32.
He is 29 for me.
I absolutely despise him.
Just the worst.
Worst design. It's just like a terrible.
Awful, right? I hate it. And I couldn't imagine fighting two of them, so I did not.
Yeah, I'm with you there, buddy. I chose not to fight.
No, I'm glad you hate them too. Or Ava. I really disliked this boss.
It's like they were pushing it with the elephant people.
Yeah.
Fighting giant tigers. Stupid. I'm sorry. I don't know why. This game is very fantasy, which is kind of weird to say. Mm-hmm. Like Dark Souls, I wouldn't even call Dark Souls very fantasy. It's very dark fantasy. This is pushing it to the point where it's like stereotypical fantasy.
Yeah, I thought the tigers were a very odd choice because it almost doesn't fit in with anything else. I feel like everything else is pretty solid in this area, but
yeah, it was
bizarre to me.
I don't know why I hate it so much, but I just do.
Me either. I hate this boss though. Like I don't know. It probably doesn't deserve it, but I hate it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, Lud and Zalin, is that their names? It's the king's pets. Don't even count them. But now we're on Nashandra. Who's number 25 for me.
Let me find this woman. This betrayer of men. This coveter of the throne. This seeker of fire. Really a seeker of dark. Where is she? She's 24 for me.
Hey.
Right there with you. I mean, I like her story. I think her story is really cool, and it makes a whole lot of sense. You know, she's a fragment of Manus, and she's the part of him that was like lustful for power or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think she's cool. I like her. But I think she's an awful boss fight.
Terrible boss fight. She really only has one move where she swings her scythe or whatever. But the fact that she constantly gives you... It's not toxic.
Curse.
Oh my gosh. How annoying is that?
It's dumb. I think you're supposed to get the King's Crown, which makes it so you can't get cursed. But that's not an excuse because you still constantly lose health.
Well, that doesn't make sense because the DLCs weren't there when the game came out.
Exactly. And that's the other thing, yeah. It is so dumb, dude.
I absolutely hate it.
It's just not a fun boss fight, and especially because it doesn't feel like the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's very weird. Like, it makes sense once you understand the lore, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
I agree. And then Aldia, who I didn't fight, and neither did you.
Yep.
But I just assumed it was... I know what he looks like, and I could just tell what he was going to fight like. Boring, lazy blob of fire.
That's right.
And that is all the bosses. Okay. So what I've done is that I've taken the top 10 lowest ranking bosses. Lowest meaning that they're closer to 1.
This is golf, guys.
Yeah. But some of these did tie, but I'm going to make the choice to cut one of them, take the number 10 spot out of the top 10, and move one of the number 7s up, if that makes any sense. So,
I understand.
So who would have been top 10 is Throne Watchers, but I don't want them there. They're gone. So number 10
Get out of here.
Is Sin, your favorite dragon.
Aw, Sin, my favorite dragon. That's a great spot for Sin.
Number 9 is the Burnt Ivory King.
Ooh, wow. That really jumped up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And then, so Fume Knight and Lost Sinner both tied for 7th place. I'm going to put Lost Sinner on number 8 and Fume Knight on number 7.
Perfect.
That's right. Number 6 is the Lost Giant. Perfect spot for him.
Aw. Look at you. Everyone else hates you. You get some love in our list.
And since we got Lost Giant already, Giant Lord and Ilana tied for 5th. I'm going to cut Giant Lord out. Keep Ilana there.
That's fine.
I think that's fair. Since they're the same boss, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then Demon of Song is number 4.
That's a good spot. I really like Demon of Song. I'm fine with that.
Looking Glass is number 3.
Interesting.
Which he was my number 3 on my original list. The Pursuer is number 2.
Great.
And then Velstad is number 1. I think that's just great.
That's good. I think that's a fantastic list, my friend.
I think
Poor
so
Vendrick
too.
couldn't recover, sadly.
Should have made it clearer and easier to fight him.
This is very true. This is definitely FromSoftware's fault.
We didn't even fight Dark Lurker, who people say is like the best boss, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. You have to like be in a specific covenant and like offer
Max
humanity to go fight him. It's dumb. But yeah, people say he's the best. Sorry guys, we don't know because we don't like to kill ourselves and we're not masochists, so we didn't bother with that boss. Yeah. But I've heard he's awesome.
Yes.
But guys, that is the definitive top 10 bosses of Dark Souls 2. And what a discussion this was, Chris. I'm really glad that we talked about it. I think it was
productive.
Fruitful. Oh, productive. It was good. It was a very, very fair. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Let's move on to games we all love with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions about Bloodborne, leave them in the comments below. And if you like what we're doing here, you can support us by liking, commenting, really commenting. We really want to hear from you guys. But also going to our Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/FutonTalks. And don't worry about giving us some big old donation. We'd much rather have a couple of people give us $1 or $2 a month. You know, we just want to build a community. We want to get to know you guys and we want to have a conversation. That's what this is all about. So if you want to support us, again, go to Patreon. You can contribute to the show. We'll read your questions on air. Comment below, like, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Also leave us nice reviews on Spotify and iTunes and stuff. Not that we're on Apple Podcasts, but
no.
It's an issue for another day.
Yeah. It's the biggest Dark Souls boss of all. It's Apple Podcasts.
Freaking, what's the new CEO's name? Not new. The original guy's been dead forever.
Steve Jobs?
It's like Tim something. Yeah, Steve Jobs has been dead for like a decade now, huh?
That's crazy.
Yes. It's insane. But and that's the reason we're not getting on Apple Podcasts right there. But we love you guys. And we hope you have an awesome day. And again, comments about Bloodborne, leave them below. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.